Okay, welcome everybody. Today is December the 3rd, 2020. Here we are in December already. What a year. And you are listening to a New Human Experience podcast, and tonight's theme is co-creation. So I picked this topic and also this theme for all of December, for the rest of December, because we are living through some really momentous times. Um, Mother Earth has made a choice to step into a fifth dimension, to move into a higher dimension. And because our playground, Mother Earth, made that choice, that means that everyone else, humans and all other creations included, all other creations that are playing on Mother Earth or having an experience on Mother Earth, have to either move with her or find a different playground, because that's how it is. So we, all of us, have already made our choice at a soul level to either stay on with Mother Earth or to move to another playground to allow us to keep playing at like a level that is kind of lower than the fifth dimension, to to s- to, if that's what we want to, if that's what our soul wants to. And so, because we are living through this time, like all of us, nobody is exempt from this. No matter how asleep you are or how awake you are, we all are going through that. So that's what I want to talk about, co-creation, because in the in the years to come, co-creation is going to be more and more needed, this skill, because we in the past have not really have the capacity to co-create. A lot of the times it is really we don't know how to create, even though we are always creating, but we are not creating at a conscious level, that we don't know exactly consciously how to create. So we create unconsciously, and so that is going to change though. So that's why I want to talk about co-creation. However, before I talk about co-creation, I have to first talk about creation, because in its simplest form, it's creation. And once we understand how to create, once we understand, the mechanics of creation, reality, and all that, then we can take it up a notch to go talk about co-creation. So let's start from the base, which is talking about creation. So we are creators. I've talked about this. I've mentioned this many times. And so I'm really going to talk more about more details of why we are creators. So, creators, creating is really a part of our true nature. Each and every one of us are creators. Whether we know how to create, we really consciously know how to create, or we only have been unconsciously creating. However, that does not matter. The fact still remains that the ability to create is a part of our nature. It's just like everybody has skin. We have skin no matter what color we are, we all have skin. There's none of us that has no skin. So being able to create is like having skin. It's something that is natural, and so natural that we sometimes don't even we don't notice it anymore. Most of us don't even notice that we are creating, and that we create every moment of every day, all of our experience that we go through throughout the day, we are the originator of all those experiences. We are so good at it. We do it so seamlessly that we don't even know that that's what's happening. So what do I mean by that? How is that possible that we are so good at it that we don't even notice it? I think to explain this in a more layman terms, I want to go back a little further to talk about how we actually create our reality. So, in short, it is our consciousness that creates reality. So, consciousness projects a hologram. So, let's break that up. What do I mean by consciousness projects a hologram? So, what is consciousness? Consciousness is really, or I should talk about what awareness is. Awareness is knowing something, being aware of something. So, awareness is kind of the umbrella, whereas consciousness goes under awareness. Consciousness is really our consciousness. What I'm talking about, our consciousness, is really the scope of our awareness. So awareness is limitless. Everything, all of existence is part of awareness. But our consciousness is really what we focus on. And that's our scope. So that's what I mean by consciousness is really our scope, the scope of our awareness. And at this moment, what makes up your consciousness, what makes up your scope of the awareness, consists of all of your experiences, all of my experiences. So that means that all of my parents' experiences that has been passed down to me, whether excuse me, whether it is passed down to me through DNA or passed down to me through how I see them live their lives day in, day out, just from being spending so much time with my family, with my parents. So that's how that's part of our consciousness, how we observe how our parents deal with life. That is part of our consciousness. And then all of our ancestors, from our mother's side and from our father's side, all of their experiences is also stored in our DNA as well. So there's a lot of information that's actually stored in our DNA, and it's all the experiences of our ancestors are stored there. And also our consciousness is consisted of all the ideas that we have adopted and accepted from the world at large, or from the people around us, from what we read about, from our travels, from all of that. That is part of our consciousness. It's not the only part of our consciousness, but those are really the more important ones. And what's also part of our consciousness is, let's say, for me, I'm Chinese, so all of the people that around the world that are Chinese, all of the experiences I have access to as well. Of course, at a very unconscious level. It's because we all sit in this energy field. One of the energy field is called Chinese culture. And then for those who are Italian, you um, you would be partaking in the Italian culture. Or if you're Romanian or whatever your nationality, whatever your culture is. So you are also, that's also part of your consciousness as well. And also, let's say I am a woman. So being a woman, so every other woman who, or not just right now, but who has ever lived in history as a woman, as a female, then I actually have access to that as well, because all their experiences has been kind of pulled together energetically into a field that I can access, most of the time very unconsciously. So then it's so then there is so much that is part of our consciousness. So each day before we wake up, our consciousness would take all of these input that is within our consciousness, and so that means within its disposal, and project a hologram. So what do I mean by project a hologram? I would like to actually um, show it, show a, let's say, let me see. I actually want to go to a different, not this one. Okay, let's see. Is it this one? Not this one. Um, yes, this is the one. This is the one. So this is what I mean by we project a hologram. If you look in the middle, there is this white light that is really representing our consciousness. So our consciousness has access to all of the information, energetic experiences of all the different fields that of ideas that we have access to for our consciousness. So when it takes all of these consciousness and it starts to project 360 degrees all around, that's so that is really what I mean by a hologram. What we see outside, what we see, if we let's say, if you're in, let's say I am in my room right now. So what my um what my consciousness does is it has the information of the input from the architect who built this house, and also from all the people that has decorated this room, and also from all of my previous experiences of how, what kind of furniture, what kind of lighting, what kind of things I put in my room. All of that is within my consciousness. So when before I wake up each morning, sleeping in my own bed, my consciousness already remembered all of those things, what the room looks like. And when I wake up, I would just project all of that. So that's what I see is my consciousness in the middle, projecting a 360 degrees all around hologram. So that is really what's happening. That is how our consciousness creates what we think of as reality. We think that it is real, but it is actually a projection, only a projection that is a hologram for me to experience in the morning. So after I woke up in the morning, then my consciousness would continue to adjust the hologram by what it is that I feel like, or what it is that I focus on from moment to moment. Let's say I decided to get up, then so I would, let's say it's cold, so I would put on a some clothing, I would put on my socks, those. So then that's when I think of these things to do, then what I see in the hologram is I see this body of mine that's doing those things. That's how the hologram, our consciousness adjusts our hologram so that we see what it is going on, what whatever it is that I think of in my consciousness, I would actually see it and I actually feel it. But actually, all of that is simply a hologram created by my consciousness. So that is really what reality is that moment to moment. My consciousness, whatever it is that I'm feeling, whatever it is that I'm focusing on, that I'm doing, my consciousness create that hologram around me. And each of these moments is a different hologram. We don't actually move, our body don't actually move. We actually, each time when my hand, let's say, move at a to a different location, it's already a new hologram. And if I, let's say, if I'm cooking breakfast for myself, then each time I break open my egg in order to fry the egg for my breakfast, that is a new hologram. Each moment when I move, even if I only move like within a millimeter of my finger, move a millimeter, that's a new hologram. I don't know whether you have ever watched how um, cartoons are made. So how animation actually made is that originally what the people doing these animation is they actually draw a picture, and then the next picture would be is something similar, only the hand maybe a little moving, or maybe they would be walking outside. Then each moment, every time there is a change, is a new frame. And because the animation, when animation moves fast enough, it actually looks like it's a trick of the eye. It actually looks like a smooth action, but actually is frame by frame by frame is different. And when all those frames move very smoothly and quickly, we don't notice, our brain don't register it, because that's the level of our consciousness at the moment, is we don't notice these gaps in between the holograms. That's why we think of, oh, I'm moving my hands or I'm moving my chair. No, actually, each time there is any movement by you or anyone else, it's a different hologram. So that's how we actually create our reality. So now that I've explained a little bit more about how we create our reality, let's go back to talking about creation. So creation is actually very simple. Creation is simply hold an idea that you want to experience. Let's say I want to let's say I want to have cinnamon bread, for example. I want to have cinnamon bread. Right now, I don't have cinnamon bread in my house, and I'm too lazy to go out to get it. So, but if I hold that idea that I want to, sink my teeth into a slice of yummy, delicious cinnamon bread, for example, and I hold this idea in my hologram long enough, then actually it will start to materialize. It start to crystallize. Now the reason something one thing would crystallize faster than others, it depends on whether I have any other other conflicts about me having this experience. Let's say if I like to have cinnamon bread, but I also have this conflict that, oh, okay, I'm doing intermittent fasting, and so right now is almost 8:30, and I don't eat after 6 o'clock. So then, because I have this conflict in that I'm doing this intermittent diet, so that's why I, even if I feel like I want to eat cinnamon bread, but it probably will not materialize because there is already an existing idea, another existing idea within me that is in conflict with me experiencing having a piece of cinnamon bread in front of me. So the more conflicts, the more of these cross purpose that you have in your within your consciousness, then the harder it is for whatever it is that you want to create to become crystallized, so much so that you actually starts to experience it in your hologram. And I actually just want to repeat what creation simply is by referring to this actually very simple illustration of what creation in its most simple form simply is. And this is a from Genesis chapter 1 verse 3. And God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. So that's all it is. That God, which we all are, the creator, meaning the creator, somebody who wants to create an experience, that who God really is somebody who wants an experience. When we have this idea of let there be light, we want to have whatever the experience is, it's really can be um, substitute as to let there be light. Let there be light, and there was light. So that's really how simple creation is. We have an idea, we hold this idea in our mind, and when there is no conflict, when our intention is completely pure and there's no other, nothing else within the existence itself, because God, when this is all Genesis, so that means this is at the beginning when there is so very few things that have been created, so very few conflicting thoughts. So that's why whatever it is that God said, whatever intention that God held, it was done. So that really is in a very simplest form. That's what creation is. We hold an intention and we see it. We hold the intention long enough so that we start to see it in our hologram, because we, moment to moment, whatever it is we focus on, we would shift into that hologram. So that's how we create. Um, of course, there is. I've talked about, how long it takes in order for that, for you to see certain creations, really depending on whether there are any conflicting um, prior creations, prior thought patterns within there. And it also depends on how much that idea that you want to experience really resonate with you, and also within your soul as well, because we don't just create at one level, we actually create at many levels within ourselves if we are fully aligned. If we, our body, our entity, which is our earth soul, and our cosmic soul and our higher self, if all parts of us are aligned, then when we have a thought of an experience, it crystallizes so very easily. Whereas if, my soul wants one thing, my ego wants different things, my body wants a third thing, if I'm not even aligned within my own being, then creation becomes more tricky. But at the simplest, it's just that we hold an idea that is simple and pure and nothing it's there to resist or cross or conflict with it, then the idea would simply be put into our hologram so that we will start to experience that. So that really is all I want to talk about today, is just a few ideas how we actually create, how we experience our reality from moment to moment. Hologram, that's what we do. Consciousness project a hologram, and we experience, all we ever experience is our own hologram. That's it's um so that's the idea. It's actually so simple, but because we have never been taught, we have never been exposed to how reality actually is at the third dimension, or I should say as at the inverted third dimension experience that we have been experiencing so far. We all of this how we create our reality, what reality is, everything is just a hologram. Those are the things that's kind of we don't get to see when we are at a when we are in inverted 3D. We don't understand that our consciousness is not there. And now that we, as a collective, we're moving to higher dimensions. That's why all these knowledge, even though it these knowledge has been here for a long time, but it is something that is beyond most of the human collective's knowledge and experience. And that's really what the suppression is. All of this is to make us forget that that's what reality is. That's what how we create reality is the hologram. And because we have never been told that that's what reality actually is, we think that, oh, okay, this hand is real. It's not. It's just a hologram, just like playing a any video game. We're in this very elaborate game that we called life. And now, when we move to fifth dimension, that's when these knowledge, these things start to become important. Because when we truly grasp that reality is simply a hologram, then we start to reclaim the ability to actually consciously create what we want rather than creating what society wants, what someone else wants us to do. So that's our first exploration of the theme of co-creation. And I just want to